Yeah. Yep. Oops. Yep. Being live streamed.
Sweet. Okay.
Here we go.
Excellent. Well, good morning, one and all. My name is Brian Rush, and my esteemed teammate is.
Hey, I'm Joe V. Hill, aka the Recruiter, and we're going to recruit you into the good life today.
Love that. Recruit me into the good life. Well, Joe and I get together. We try to get together once a week and discuss mastering the skills of connecting with others. It is something that we hope to continually practice, and we follow this book called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect that Joe was holding up by who I call Johnny Mack or John Maxwell. And today we are in chapter 9, and chapter 9 is around connectors inspire people. So right off the bat, Joe, what do you think of when you hear of connectors inspiring people?
Oh, well, Brian, man, it's always great to be on this with you, man. And you are an amazing connector, first of all, and I just want the audience to know that you're awesome in what you do, brother. But what I think when about the question that you just asked, that, and John mentions this in his book in this particular chapter, inspires. They listen to people first.
Mm,
He says this throughout the book. They listen to people first, and then they start working on the individual's needs or the audience needs to connect with them. Because if the one that's doing the inspiring and he's only or trying to do the inspiring and he's only talking about himself, what kind of inspiration is that? It may sound good for the moment, like, yeah, this guy's kind of inspiring. He's done this, he's done that, blah, blah, blah. But what kind of takeaway am I going to have when I leave your seminar or when I leave your meeting or your classroom?
mm.
Is any of this going to resonate with me 24 hours from now, a week from now, a month from now? Am I going to do what it is that you were talking about? Because if you're not meeting my needs, if you're trying to inspire to me, then you're not an inspiration at all.
Yeah.
But John always makes it a point to say, hey, you have to connect with these individuals' needs, what the audience needs, because if you're not doing that, there's no connection.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so obvious, but it's so profound at the same time.
Yeah.
I we're going to talk about what inspiration is to each one of us and the mechanics of it. John Maxwell shares he shares this three-part plan, a three-part recipe of inspiration.
Hmm.
And on page 200, there's a quick summary of it. What they know, what they see, and what they feel equals
Yeah.
inspiration, right? And so
Yes.
I like this. I like this formula. What do they know? What information do they already have, and what information do they need?
Mhm.
What do they see, and what do they need to see? That's what I'm thinking. And then
Yeah.
lastly, what do they feel? Good, bad, indifferent, recent tragedy. I need to know, and because I need to know what's my starting point for that specific person or
Right.
that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Are they feeling down? Well, I need to. I really need to bring a message that pulls on something that's important to them to lift them up. Are they already feeling like a recent success has happened? Well, I need to be, celebratory and acknowledge that because that's good, and I'm not starting from square one or whatever. So what they feel, but I like that formula. Tell me maybe what part of that formula really sticks out to you.
I mean, I would say that, I mean, all three components, the know, see, and feel, and then equals inspiration, right? But at the same time, is like, what do they know? And I think when we start off, we have to ask that general question: what does the audience know? What and we should ask ourselves, what am I here for to deliver to that audience? Okay, what are they going to see when they see me up here trying to connect with them and delivering that not just an inspirational message, but a teaching message that they can take and apply it in certain areas of their lives to, like you
Right.
said, somewhere they can become a better success.
Right.
How are they going to feel after that? Motivation is a good feeling, but and John says in his other books, it's the consistency that keeps you going,
Right.
you know, and that's going to be the inspiration. It's that consistency, that drive every day that keeps us going. So all three of those components, they just kind of work together for me
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. But you mentioned earlier, like, what what is this individual going through that I can say to them to help them pull out of their current situation. But sometimes we kind of overlook the individual that may have plateaued. You know what I mean? And they're just like, I'm here, I'm stuck, I'm doing okay, but my God, man, there's got to be more to life than what I'm doing right now.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
mhm.
I've plateaued. How can you help me in a way? Can you give me some suggestions or ideas? Can you coach me through a different process? And here are some of the challenges that I'm facing. Here are some of the issues. Here's what I would like to aspire to get to the next level. Can you help me with that? And that goes into the last component, what they feel. They may feel that they've plateaued. So
Mm.
how do we inspire them to get to the next level?
I really do like that. And if I, one of the things you made me think about was whenever we came to basic training is inspirational because
Mhm.
everyone there is needing to transition from their civilian life
Yes.
into the military mindset, the military fitness, the army way, the army values. So what
Right.
inspires us in that moment is that very clear direction and that very clear demand and challenge from a basic training environment. So
Right.
it was inspirational. They pair you up. Being paired with somebody or not feeling like you're a part of something bigger than yourself, that gives people inspiration. They give you a purpose, right? That,
Yeah.
like all of the things of the recipe of inspiration is there, that basic training environment.
And it was, I mean, you think of the drill sergeants, right? They're they're the first people you meet. What we used to call coming off the cattle truck. Remember
uh,
that? That
oh,
we were all cuddled in there together like this. We couldn't move until the doors open. Get out, get out, get out. Uh, but at that moment, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't that inspiring to get yelled at, to get screamed at, get over here. You get over here, drop your gear, get over here. And it's like total chaos. But it was designed that way
mm-hmm.
because in the military we're trained for war, so sometimes we have to operate in some sort of a chaotic environment.
Yes.
But like you're saying in basic training, that as we progress and go through basic training, we see how it's much more organized, how much more it is motivating and inspirational. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we still got dropped for push-ups throughout the time. We still got jumped and had the knife hand going in our face
Oh yeah.
by the drill sergeants. But at the end of basic training, what happened? We had so much admiration and respect for those drill sergeants that trained us to become who we were supposed to be starting off our career in the United States military.
Yo,
It was
absolutely.
inspirational, man.
Absolutely. So there are some questions that good connectors should ask themselves about who they're going to be in front of, so they can be prepared to connect. There are three questions. What are they thinking? What are they saying? And what are they doing? I love those. And then he has a quote by Maya Angelou in here. The most called upon prerequisite of a friend is an
Mhm.
accessible ear, meaning
Yeah.
a good friend, and I think a quality connector is there to listen and understand and bring out what's important in the other person, having that listening ear.
Mm-mm-mm.
But Joe, the next part about it, and this again goes back to a basic training, but I want
Yeah.
connectors to be able to do this. People need to know that you have high expectations of them. Give me some thoughts on that from page 204.
Oh my gosh, man. People need to know that you have high expectations of them. Okay. In other words, if we treat people as who they can become, right?
Mm,
Uh, they will be inspired to rise to the next level of our expectations. They have to see that. They have to know that, that we're there for them to get to the next level. They're going to stumble, they're going to fall. And honestly, we should expect that. They may not get it right away, the expectation, but as time progresses and they make the mistakes, like you messed up here, you messed up there.
mhm,
But this is what I want you to consider next time. That's the coaching process. That's
mhm,
the mentoring process. And
mhm.
that's how we can get them to the next level. All right. So we need to treat them as who they can become and not who they are at that moment.
Yeah.
And John mentions that as well. And I love the way he says that, them to what they can be. Like the drill sergeants in the army, right?
That's
They
right.
were treating us as trainees first because we didn't know our heads from a hole in the ground. You
Right.
know, we didn't know how to lace up our boots. We didn't know if our cap was on the right way or the wrong way.
Right.
They started treating us as to what we were supposed to become. So at
Mhm.
the end of our training, we were service members. We were defenders of this country. You know, that's what they wanted us to become.
Yes, absolutely. There's a saying that kind of similar to this. I tell people, people will climb up to or down to the standards that you hold them to.
Yes.
So if you talk to your audience like they are brilliant and unlimited with their potential,
Mhm.
they may catch 90% of that and be better than what they thought they were.
Mhm.
Right? Like the greatest leaders, they talk to their followers as if their followers can move mountains, right? And so
Right.
I love that part. They have high expectations of them. And part of the section what people need to see under that, it says
Mhm.
people need to see your conviction.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So this is your credibility, all right? These are your core values. Okay. So when they see your conviction, they understand that this is the guy that inspires me. This is the person that inspires me. Um, you're you're not the actor on a stage giving a performance. You are the guy living what you're talking about.
Mhm.
And once people see that and they understand that your communication goes up to the next level and the inspiration. However, at the same time, you're the individual that you're speaking to or the audience that you're speaking to, they're grabbing that. Okay. They're understanding that, this person is living by his whole inner core values. His entire conviction is on the stage for display, and he's transparent about it. And that's what I love about this guy. And that's the way John is. You've heard him speak. You've seen him speak live, whether on live or YouTube video. He's living who he is, right?
Yeah.
When he writes a book, based on whatever, that's what he's lived, and that's what he's taught, and that's what he teaches, and that's how he moves people forward. He makes it about the next individual. That's his core value.
Yeah.
Get the other person to the next level.
Yes. So what people need to
Mhm.
see your conviction. This says they need to see your credibility
Mhm.
and they need to see evidence of your character, right?
Yes.
And there's a quote. It says the mediocre teacher tells, the good
Mhm.
the good teacher explains, the great teacher demonstrates.
Oh man. Yeah.
I think that is so excellent.
Hmm.
And people want to when people are assessing whether or not they should follow you, they're evaluating you. Are you worth following? I would ask supervisors. I taught at Fort Leonard Wood. I would teach like part of the supervisor development course and leadership development courses. And one of the first questions I would ask people is, why would one of your subordinates follow you, other than the fact that they needed a paycheck?
I mean, when you ask that question in that particular form, I mean, how many hands went up immediately that says, "Hey, I got the answer. I got the answer. I could
It,
tell you right now." How many?
a few would raise their hands early because you always have early answerers, but
Yeah.
the overwhelming majority would be evaluating what is it about me, about my character, exactly these subcategories
Yeah.
about my conviction, about my credibility, or about my character that would compel someone to follow me.
Mhm.
Same thing applies, I believe, Joe, for connectors. What is it about me that upon being evaluated, because you're going to be there to be evaluated, that people will say I want to follow that person even though I don't have to.
Yes. And character says, and it instills trust.
Yes.
If you can establish trust as a connector, as a communicator, right off the bat, if you can establish trust, that says a lot about your character, your credibility.
Right.
If you can't establish any type of trust, you're not gonna inspire anybody
Mm-hmm.
to the next level. You're
Yeah.
not gonna inspire anyone to follow you to get to where they need to go.
Yeah, and you've met people who talk but they don't have conviction,
Yeah.
right? Or you met people who talk but they don't have credibility,
Mm.
or they haven't been around long enough to prove or disprove their character. So then they're kind of in the holding pattern for people.
Yeah.
It's like you haven't proven that you have credibility, conviction, or character yet. So we're just waiting for you to do that. If you never do that, you never get that buy-in.
Oh man, that I love the way you just said that. If you don't do that, you don't get the buy-in. And leaders have to, their followers have to see that to get the buy-in. And
Yeah.
if they don't, man, it's when it comes to the bottom line, it's going to go from the black to the red. Using an accounting aspect
Mhm.
that the organization is going to lose not just money, but it's going to lose the valuable people that could have made the organization that much better. But the
Right.
leader did not have the credibility to get those folks to the next level.
Love it. I love it. So, next one, what people feel. People need to feel your passion for the subject and them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read this. Passion is powerful. It supersedes mere spoken words. Joyce McMillan remarked, I am convinced that your passion and purpose will always show through and make an impact no matter what you are doing. What do you think of
Mm. I mean, my goodness, man, it's passion. I mean, I'm not talking about like a cheerleader, with the pom poms on the sideline. Okay. When it comes to passion, people need to realize that they want to get the job done because they may be looking through this paradigm, through this lens that is saying, this is the vision of the company. This is my vision of what I would like to do. This is the vision where I would like to take us to that next level. But without that passion, the vision is nothing more than mere words written on a sheet of paper.
Right.
It was like a vision statement was just done for the sake of getting it done. But if you add the passion to that, now you can take the folks. You can just get them to feel what it is that you're feeling, and they're going to be excited about getting it done and following you to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. So when in I have some friends that are lawyers, and
Mm,
they kind of hold themselves to. There's a term that some of them use is a dispassionate evaluation of the case.
wow.
A dispassionate evaluation of the case. So what they're saying is I need to put aside all of my emotions and feelings and where I'm inspired to be around this case and be completely
Yeah.
objective in their evaluation of a case.
Hmm.
But in the connecting to another person, you need to bring that passion and have that internal inspiration and
Yeah.
show people, this is really important to me. This has really changed my life. I'm really serious about the things that I'm going to share with you or the things that I'm going to demonstrate or ask you to do. And so, Joe, I see that whenever we go to do something, I see the passion in you, and I know people see it as well. Like when you say, I'm Joe the recruiter and I want to recruit you to the good life, it's not just something that you're letting words that you're letting fall out of your mouth. It's something that's coming from your heart. And you
Yes.
really want that from people. You do it here locally and all over the world. So that's the people can feel that true passion. Let me pause there and get your take on that.
Yeah. So I like that because it comes from that inner self. And it has to come from that deep place, that passion. Because if not, there's no love that's connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's no real sense of like wanting to develop a relationship or a friendship or taking your relationship to the next level with your spouse. Okay,
Right.
so I kind of like this. Okay, if we're not, and it's I can't remember where it is, but John says if you're not sure if your passion is coming from a deeper place, start asking yourself these questions. And he says, do I believe what I say? Has it changed me? Do I believe it will help others? Have I seen the change in others?
Mm,
Okay, so people need to feel your confidence in yourself and in them.
mm.
is what he's saying. So let me repeat those questions. And he says, do I believe what I say? Has it changed me? Do I believe it will help others? Have I seen it change others? And they need to feel your confidence in yourself and in them. Like when we went out the other time and the time for the school and everything, when we did the disc program,
Mhm.
they believe when you were presenting the disc, Brian, they were captivated by everything that you were saying. They were hung on every word of what you were saying about disc
Mm.
because they knew this was going to help change their performance in the classroom. And not only that, get their students to understand the curriculum of what of everything that they were presenting and that they were going to do great this coming school year
Yeah.
coming up. So they believed in what you were saying, and they knew, and you know that everything that you're presenting is changing you to help others, and you're
Yeah.
going to see the change, and the teachers are going to see the change this year coming up.
Yeah. And that's where the best comes out of the connector, the person
Mm,
attempting to connect through inspiration. If you can check all of those blocks, you're going to show up passionate. You're going to show up confident and you're going to show up believable.
mhm.
You've got it now. You've got the first couple ones.
Yeah.
Do I believe it will help others? That is the part where you've got to be absolutely sure. I think confidence is very easily observable, and doubt is also very easily observable. So if I'm
Yeah.
telling you something, but I look like and feel like I don't really believe in it, I know you're going to sense that in me, and I'm doing you a disservice. So I was in another industry. I was in sales. I was in insurance, and I was so dispassionate about the whole thing. I got
Mm,
trained. It was excellent sales training. The company was good. I just wasn't in my. It wasn't. It didn't change my life. I,
right.
I kind of had head knowledge of it, but I didn't believe. I didn't believe in it, so I didn't feel like it was right for me to be selling something I didn't believe in, Joe.
Mhm.
What do you think of that?
It's rough, man. Even as like a recruiter, right?
Yeah.
Um, if I'm just trying to fill the seat, which I've had to do in the past as a recruiter, and I'm like, I'm just glad I got it out of the way.
Right.
It's done. I've checked the block. This person got hired. Right person for the job. But there were times where I filled the seat and I was excited about getting that person in the seat.
Yeah.
And they knew it too. Getting the interview lined up, getting the person prepped for the interview, sending the information to the hiring panel in terms of like, hey, here's the candidate, this is the salary expectation, here's the resume. By the way, we spoke and this is what we talked about. Here are some extra notes for you guys, just in case you need them, referring to the hiring panel. And what that did was it made the candidate relax before and during the interview as well.
Okay.
They didn't feel that they were going to get, slammed. Hey, tell me about this and tell me about that. Why do you think we should hire you for this position? They came out and with great confidence. Now, sometimes there was another candidate that was better than that when they got hired. Of course, that happens, right?
Right.
But when I'm excited and passionate about it, it gets done.
Mhm.
But like you're saying, you know what? I'm just going to check the block today. I got my to-do list. This is all I'm working on. I'll see you tomorrow.
Right. Right.
And you mentally tap out, right?
Right.
And like you said, people see it. And if they don't see it in this day and age when you're on the phone, they can hear it in the tone of your voice as well.
That's absolutely correct. And
Mhm.
Christmas told me, she's like, Brian, it's your tone. Sometimes it comes across as, disrespectful or whatever. And I'm
Mhm.
like, thank you for telling me that, because I don't want to betray how I feel with how I sound. And I
Mhm.
tell you, John Maxwell does a great job of that. He's got a big husky voice, but it always sounds lighthearted, which is
Yes.
not easy, but he always sounds lighthearted, and I admire that, and I study that, and I'm trying to emulate that as well. So let's move forward. All the virtues, gratitude is probably the most neglected and least expressed. I'm pulling from
Mhm.
page 216. People need to feel your gratitude for them. Joe, I'm going to say something real quick, and then I want to get your take on it. I have started a new tradition. and it's called getting my vitamin G.
Mm.
My new tradition is getting my vitamin G every day. I pick someone from all of the people that I know and I reach out to them to express gratitude.
Yes,
I call it vitamin G because gratitude is absolutely good for your health.
it is.
I'm a research nerd, and I have found that gratitude is good for you physically, chemically, emotionally. All of it's like it literally is a magic pill to the body.
Yeah.
So every morning or every day I take my vitamin G, and it makes me feel good, and it does good for my mind and my body. But the person I'm expressing gratitude for, it makes them feel good, heard, and seen. So now I'm going
Mm.
to step back and ask you to step in. How important is it for a connector or someone who seeks to connect to be well versed in expressing gratitude?
Oh man, that is so awesome. I've been, it's funny you mentioned that, and it's funny we're talking about this in the book as well. And so I've been practicing that. So I journal a lot. Well, I don't want to say a lot. I probably do it maybe 4 or 5 days a week. And there's probably I might go a week without journaling. But if I have nothing to journal about, and I typically do, if I feel I have nothing to journal about, I'm going to put at the top of the paper with the date, attitude of gratitude. Excuse me. And I'm going to list 3 points that I'm grateful for. It might be, each point might have like 3 or 4 sentences,
Mhm.
but I will put pen to paper and express my gratitude in there about something and or someone.
Hmm.
But as a communicator, we should be grateful that people are actually willing to give us their ear, to say, hey, because some people, have you ever ran into that person that they're just like, they're just get to the point. Don't,
Yes.
I don't need a cheerleader. I don't need a pat on the back. Just get to the point. But dude, wait, listen, I'm grateful for the stuff that you've been doing. I really appreciate the stuff, your efforts. Okay, thank you. Click. But there are those people. But to help listeners feel passionate, confident, and inspired, we have to express that gratitude, man.
Yes.
I know we have to. And we have to be grateful ourselves. Because if we're ingrates or we're borderline grateful, not grateful, people are going to see that. It was like in that formula that we mentioned in the beginning. People are actually going to see it. They're going to feel it as well. But
Yes.
we have to be willing as connectors and as communicators. We have to be willing and receptive to receive gratitude as well.
Very true.
Because if not, yeah, how is our cup going to overflow? And how are we going to pour into others if we're not receptive to gratitude, man?
That's a very, very good point. Let me share this. Gladys Stern, a quote says, silent gratitude isn't much good to anyone.
Mm,
There's brilliance in simplicity. The message there is if you feel gratitude or gracious for someone, but you don't tell them, you're not helping them. You
yeah.
haven't really expressed that gratitude. So I really, really love that. They go over some things that people are expressing, that either they or other people have done to express gratitude.
Yeah.
Let's see, inspiration at the highest level. Okay, so there's a formula in the Everyone Communicates Few Connect slides that the Maxwell team distributes.
Hmm.
And there's a formula. It's like inspiration equals the sum of two things:
Mm.
what they are into, what they care about, what they need, what they're focused on, plus how you ignite and stoke that in them. That equals inspiration.
Oh, wow.
I love that incredibly simple formula of inspiration. So before I go and attempt to connect with Joe V. Hill, I should know what is important to Joe. What does he need? What is he interested in? Where is he in his phase of life? Now that I know that, I know what is inside that I need to fan into the flames. Right. It's not what I like. He's John Maxwell says this, and I agree with it. I can't motivate anyone. The only thing I can do is try to find what
Yep.
spark is already inside of them and fan into those flames and that's what will get them to move. They are inspired by what they're inspired by. My job is to find that spark.
Oh man, dude, that is a whole new mastermind class in itself. Fan the flame. That's what we're gonna call it, Brian. We're gonna call it. Hey, you know what? That next mastermind we're gonna do lunch and learn is called Fan the Flame. Sign up here.
I love it. I love it. I'm
So,
serious. Let's
and we're men of faith, right?
yes.
So I'm reminded in Second Timothy about this. The Apostle Paul writes to Timothy, and he says, "Fan the flame that is within you." So in other words, he's saying it's your responsibility to keep your motivation going. Fan the flame, because sometimes the flame does die out.
Yes.
Sometimes all we have are just the embers that are just kind of like there, keeping us just a little warm, like the plateau I spoke about earlier.
Sure.
But we have to fan that, keep our consistency going, not just the motivation, but keep our consistency going
Mm.
in the things that we need to do. But sometimes we can't do that unless we're connected with someone, as iron sharpens iron, right?
Mhm.
Unless we're connected with someone, it's going to be hard for us to do that. Sometimes we need to have that inspiration from
Mhm.
somebody else. Because you mentioned what makes Joe tick? You know, how can I connect with him? What's important to Joe? You were asking those questions, man. So that's where the connection is, and that's where I can express gratitude and say, Brian, man, thank you so much for connecting with me. Thank you so much for bringing me along on this journey called Team Builders Academy. And
Mhm.
so I'm expressing that gratitude. Thank you, Brian, so much for getting me trained up in your vision and mission and what it is that you want to do in these schools and helping other people out. You
Yeah.
know, because it's important to you, and now it becomes important to me. And
Right.
it's helping other folks because we're pouring into them now.
Right.
I know I went on a tangent, brother, but man, I had to say all that.
No, I receive that gratitude, but I'm also, again, I have to, I receive that gratitude. I return it. I express that gratitude, but I'm also playing the role of, how should I say this? An inspiration investigator.
Oh man, elaborate, man, elaborate.
Everyone, if we can make everyone listening to this and everyone under our influence an inspiration investigator, we are at all times looking for clues of what the embers are in someone's inside someone that really inspires them. We are at all times investigating. So one of the things that I learned the other day, and this is exactly mine, so it just doubly confirms why we make good teammates. Joe told me that one of his most important motivations is freedom.
Mm.
I don't know if we were driving. That
Yep.
is fine. When people ask me, Brian, what are you working towards? I always say freedom. I
Hmm.
want I want time freedom. I want money freedom. I want location freedom. Freedom. It matters to me. And whenever you said that, I said, okay, he's a man after my own heart. We have we really we see things similarly. And now what I'm doing as an inspiration investigator is I'm filing that in the Joe V. Hill inspiration folder.
Oh, I got my own folder.
Yeah. I'm filing that in the Joe V. Hill inspiration folder. Now here's the thing: it might change. Things may change as
Yep.
life changes. He may be in a phase where he needs something else, where he really needs information. Well, okay,
Hmm.
what's going to inspire him is keeping him informed, informing him, or he needs whatever. The again the master connector, and I think John Maxwell is great at this. And Joe and I are people of faith. We think Jesus Christ is the greatest connector of all time.
Oh yeah.
They look into the heart, find what embers motivate them, and they fan into those flames. Brilliant,
Hmm.
simply with passion and with conviction.
Oh my gosh, man. That is so. I mean, we could wrap it up right there, man. You know, I mean, but yeah, I mean, we have to fan that flame, man. We got to keep the embers warm, you know, at the very least.
Mhm.
And then when that flame hits and it gets getting hotter and hotter and hotter, we are setting people on fire, metaphorically, of course. We're setting people on fire to the point that they just want to keep it burning.
Mhm.
Excuse me, keep it burning and keep going forward.
Mhm.
What the message that they have on the inside of them, so they can continue and say, yes, this message is important not only to me, but I know it's got to be important to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, Jesus, the ultimate connector, communicator, that kingdom message, that salvation message was important. And it's so important, we're still living it today
Yeah.
in 2025,
Yeah.
right?
Like in terms of just people, there's a historian that's I don't believe in the deity of Jesus Christ. And
Mhm.
this guy was an atheist, but he said it is undeniable he is the most consequential person who has ever lived
Mhm.
in history.
Yeah.
Why would someone who didn't have an army end up leading the greatest revolution in world history?
Mhm.
It was because his of again every standard that John Maxwell is talking about in this chapter, Jesus passed it with flying colors.
Yes.
Check. Credibility, check.
Mhm.
Consistency, check.
Yeah.
Check. Did he know what the people needed? Check. Like
Jack.
all of these things he passed. So when you
Yeah.
his words and his actions, you can't help but connect with it because he knows what is in all of our hearts.
Oh my goodness, man. He does.
Yeah, like
Yeah. But before we were formed in our mother's womb, he knew what we were about.
yeah. So how could
You
he not
know,
be an inspirational connector?
right. And I like what John says in all his books because he always gets to this point. He always says, "Hey, being a man of faith, I'm going to talk about this next. And if you feel it might insult you or hurt your feelings, just move on to the next chapter. However, I would encourage you to listen to it. I would encourage you to read it."
Right.
You know? So now he's planting that seed
Yeah.
or he's watering that seed, right? To maybe to help that person out in their salvation.
Oh, Joe, I got a perfect story for that one. So you know how
Mhm.
like so we're talking about inspiration is custom made for that person.
Mhm.
You have to find out what is in their heart, what really is important to them in order to fan into that specific area of importance for them. And
Mhm.
when you hit it, that you've got their attention and they're following. So Jay Warner Wallace has this podcast in this ministry called Cold Case Christianity. It is, I think, bar none, one of the best apologetics uh, sources that any believer can follow. He is meticulous with the details and the
Right.
investigation of Christian history and biblical like validity. Validity.
Mhm.
Here's how he got. Here's how his uh here's how a pastor fanned into his flames when he was an atheist. He was at a church because his wife had converted.
Mhm.
The pastor said Jesus was the smartest man who ever lived. He was the most brilliant man who ever lived. Now,
Mhm.
the guy that was in the pew, it wasn't the claims of Jesus's resurrection that interested him. In fact, he found it ridiculous.
Wow. Okay.
But he himself, he's a get this guy was a cold case detective.
Mhm.
Has his master's degree in architecture from UCLA, and
Mm.
he's like really good with the things that he does. Like he's been on 60 Minutes. He's so good. He values brilliance and information.
Wow.
So the pastor saying that Jesus was the smartest man of all time that fanned into his flames, and he
Oh my God.
sent him on a journey to say, wait a second, time out. He said Jesus was the smartest man who ever lived. Now I need to figure out if this is true. It fanned into those flames, set
Mhm.
him on a journey. He approached the gospels from a
Mhm.
cold case detective's atheist point of view, and his conclusion was the evidence is so overwhelming that this actually happened. Now I am a man of faith. I believe that this
Mhm.
death, burial, and resurrection happened. But it all started because the pastor inspired what was important to him
Yeah.
was the intellect of Jesus, and not the other thing.
Oh man.
A
And then
brilliant,
and then he became born again.
yes,
Wow. I- So the Bible says what? God takes the foolish things of the world to confound the wise.
right,
Oh my goodness. So this guy was wise in his own mind
100%.
and became foolish at that point to set him on a course to investigate this to see if Jesus was the smartest guy on the planet. And he ultimately found out,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. He
Mhm.
wanted to either prove or disprove this person that everybody was talking about, and he knew he knew if I believe in the deity of this person, that means something in me has to change.
Yeah.
So he said, I know I'll go to the heart of the story, the resurrection, and I'm
Hmm.
going to put it through the same paces that I do my cold cases. And at the end of my cold cases, I demand the jury make a decision based on the evidence presented. And he said, I held myself to the same standard. And I went on an information
Okay.
detective style investigation.
Hmm.
Conclusion was the evidence demands a verdict that this actually happened. And
Yep.
it's funny, and it all goes back to that pastor fanning into what piqued his interest, what was important to him, saying Jesus was the smartest man who ever lived. And it was boom, fan flamed.
Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead
Yeah, yeah.
based on all that. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead. So on page 221 at the top,
Yep.
okay, action, inspiration at its highest level. So basically, what John is saying is, and what this pastor said when this investigator was listening, the atheist, what happened right here was the pastor said the right words at the right time, at the right moment in this guy's life. And we're going to have to give credit to his wife, the investigator's wife. She probably drug him to church that morning. You know,
Yeah.
so the right words were said at the right time. Timing is often the difference between success and failure in any endeavor.
Mm,
Timing. We sometimes we overlook timing or we take it for granted. We talked about humor a couple of sessions ago on this, and we said that humor has to be timed correctly. You know, and I remember one of the individuals that said that was a British actress. She's kind of like the Lucille Ball of Britcoms, right? And I can't remember. Patricia Rutledge is her name. And she said that the timing has to be perfect for comedy.
yes.
If it's not going to be funny. I'm like, wow. And that just what she said, it just stuck with me. Timing has to be perfect or it's not going to be funny. But you take that same concept, timing is often the difference between success and failure in any endeavor. And John gives us this action plan, right? What does he call it? Act.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And like I said, I know I'm jumping ahead, but what you said just resonated with the rest of this. Okay. And he doesn't call himself a motivational uh, speaker. He calls himself a motivational teacher. And he says that a motivational teacher will make you feel good. And the next day, you know why and take action.
Love it.
Wow. And he says to help people move from know how to do now, he says take this acronym ACT, ACT. The A stands for the things you need to apply or I need to apply, right? And he says the C for the things you learned or the things that I've learned that I need to change. And the T is for the things that you learned or I learned that I need to teach. So you and I are doing the ACT acronym right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the right words are said at the right time, and this could determine success or failure. So we're doing ACT. We're applying these principles in his book in our lives and for the audience. We're changing things in our lives, and sometimes change is painful. Everybody knows that. It's
Yes.
not always pleasant.
Yes.
It's not always pleasant. It hurts. Okay. But we're also teaching ourselves the things that we've learned and teaching others ultimately. But when you said that about this guy, this cold case investigator, and then he came to Jesus, man, oh man.
Yeah. And now he's one of the best. Like, I mean, he is one of the best at making a case for the tenets of our faith, the tenets of the
Mhm.
gospel, the
Yeah.
details. He is one of the best. I mean,
Wow.
love listening to his content. Yeah, he's open with his story.
Mhm.
So it says also on page 224, make a commitment to continually inspire others. And Will Smith, there's a Will Smith quote in here. The way I like to measure greatness is how many people can you make want to be better?
Mm, wow. Man, how many people can you make want to be better? Well, I can
Uh,
think of one guy, and that's the guy that I got to look at in the mirror every morning.
that's absolutely
That's the guy that I want to be better, even when it hurts, even when I
yes.
don't want to. I'm going to be honest with you, man. There's days that I don't want to. I don't know if you've ever had those days. It could be a sinus headache. It could be a in-depth, I'll say it like this, an in-depth discussion that you may have had with somebody that you strongly disagreed with.
Yeah.
You know, there's days that I don't want to, but there's days where I have to fan that flame and make that inner core burn to make myself want to do it.
Right.
You know, not what somebody else really wants me to do because they have that desire, because they want to get some, but I know what the passion is that's in here that has to be done first, and then ultimately help that other person out
Right.
if I can do that. But yeah, I like that. That's how many people can you make want to be better. I love that quote by Will Smith as well, and he's right. You know, that's how he measures his success, and I love that. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And to me, that goes back to like empowering. Like, I don't want to be someone that is the source of someone else's motivation.
Mm,
I want to help people find their own motivation so they can
yeah.
be self-operated success factory. They won't need me. And for me, that's true empowerment. Now let's go to page 226. We'll go through this. He always tells us how to connect one-on-one, connect in
Yep.
a group, connect with an audience.
Oh
So
yeah.
connecting 101, and we'll grab a couple from each one of these sections.
Mhm.
I like this one, a heart to serve. People
Yep.
know that you want to serve them.
Hmm.
And I'm going to go with a helping hand, add value to others, and always try to lift them up.
Yeah. I love those. I'm gonna agree with you 100% on both of those. That first bullet, a heart to serve. People need to know, and absolutely, people need to know that we want to help them out.
Yep.
But we also need to know that there's folks out there that want to help us out as well, because sometimes, let's face it, we need it as well. Uh, But that last bullet on there on page 226, a caring spirit. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I can't tell you how many times I've read that in John's books.
That's right.
You know, we have to have a caring spirit. And sometimes when we portray that caring spirit or the way we articulate it, it may come across as not caring to the receiver. Unfortunately. But sometimes we have to go back and say, you know what? I think I may have said that wrong, or I think the way I said it, you may have misunderstood me. So let me rephrase it differently to where we're both going to understand what I said and how it can help you and help us both in this situation.
Right. I 100% agree. And then sometimes what you have to communicate and care makes the
Hmm.
audience feel uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
it's the right thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes the drill sergeant had to say some things to us that weren't didn't feel like care in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you things that's going to keep you in right military bearing, safety, and action,
Hmm.
especially if you're in a combat situation.
Yeah.
So I need to get this message to you to where it's going to hit and force you to do something.
Hmm.
Moving on to connecting in a group on page 227. People in a group want to know. Love it. I'm gonna pick the first bullet that you will go
Okay.
first and lead by example.
Mm.
Remember earlier, great teachers demonstrate.
Yes.
That's what it is, man. Great leaders, they lead by example. So embody the thing before you ask other people to do the thing.
Hmm. That is so true. That is so true. Why should I follow you if you're just, saying do as I say and not as I do?
Right.
Why should I? It's like a chain smoker. We talked about the chain smoker guy earlier with his cup of coffee,
Yes.
right? Hey, don't smoke. This might kill you.
Yeah, but
Do as I say, not as I do. What happens to the guy 25 years later?
right.
He's on oxygen, he's COPD, bad lungs, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, you have to lead by example. As connectors, as leaders, we need to. I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
Um, there's another one, and then I'll turn it over to you. They need to know that their success is more important to you than your success. Whoop.
Oh man, check that out. That out. Yeah, they have to know that, because they want to get to the next level. And as connectors, how do we do that? By listening.
Yes, sir.
We got to have that listening spirit, that listening heart, man. Not just hear what they're saying, but really, I mean, just listening to what they're saying
Mhm.
and maybe repeat the statement back to them, as we were trained to do. This is what I heard you say. Yeah, that is what I said. Oh, okay. How can we go from here to the next step?
Mhm.
One step at a time. But yeah, I agree with you, man. That is good. The one that I was looking at just now, a moment ago, or as we were preparing for this as well, is that you will teach them to do what you have already done, which ties into what you were saying as well. So I agree with that one. How that's a part of the success process. We're going to teach them to do what we've already done. I'm not going to ask you to do something that I haven't done already.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard that? How many times have we said that? And
Mhm.
here it is now, we got to put it into practice as well. And then the next one is that they will get credit for their accomplishments.
Right.
We can celebrate them with them, and that's great. But give them the credit for their accomplishments, not as look what I helped them do.
Right.
They're a success because of the things that I said. They're a success because of the things that I helped them do and did for them. No, 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 no.
Mhm.
Let them celebrate their success. Give them credit. Pat them on the back. Great job. I love the way you did that, man. Hey, what's the next step that you need to work on?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And people gravitate towards environment where they feel like they're getting appreciated.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You're
without
a,
a doubt, man. You're
a
absolutely right.
your source of appreciation, and you catch people doing good and you call them out on their successes, that of
Mhm,
course they're going to want to be around you and follow you because you pour into them in an area
mhm.
that is important to them.
Yeah.
Connecting with an audience, which I need to pay very close attention to because
Mhm.
next week I've got like two keynote speeches at
All
school.
right.
Better have my game right, right?
All right.
They should see that you enjoy being with them and want to help them is the first bullet
Mhm.
in that section. What do you think about that? Or another?
Oh man, once you see that in the audience and you enjoy, and he said you enjoy being with them. Oh man, they're gonna be on the edge of their seat, and they're gonna be like this, or
Yeah,
they're gonna be like this, taking notes, looking up. This guy is really resonating with me. This guy, I'm in a room with 100 different people right now, but he's speaking to me directly.
right.
So and once you see that, you gauge that throughout the audience, you're like, yeah, okay. Not only they're getting what I'm saying, but I'm here for them to help them.
Hmm.
I'm not here to collect a paycheck. I'm not here so I can get the accolade at the end of the speech, a little plaque or whatever, a certificate of appreciation. No, this is to help get and what happens? Hey, I remember you were the keynote speaker about 10 years ago, man. You said this, this, and this. You shared a couple of principles. I acted on those things and they worked.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love that. And when you get around someone and they make you feel like they are absolutely thrilled that you
Hmm.
are there with them, it
Yeah.
it does something to your heart, and it does something. It really does. I think Chick-fil-A has mastered this.
Say it.
I am an observer. I am a studier of leadership, and I'm a studier of great teams. I'm also a studier of why teams fail, but we're not going to emphasize that. Chick-fil-A in their culture and how they recruit people who have the ability to make people think that they have been waiting for them all their lives and they could not be happier that they pulled up.
Oh man, I love it.
Every time you go to a Chick-fil-A, that's
Mhm.
exactly what the people act like. They are
Mhm.
absolutely thrilled that you decided to stop by their store.
Yeah.
That's what I want my audiences to feel every time we have an opportunity to serve, coach, teach, train, or whatever. I want them to feel that, dude, I would rather be nowhere else than in the same room with you.
I have something similar to that, man. So I was at my first IMC in March 2023, man. And we all got to wear the lanyards with our names on it, right?
Yes.
So I'm walking down the hall, getting ready to go into the auditorium, and who's starting to walk by me like this? Mark Cole,
Yeah.
John Maxwell's CEO, and he looks at me, and I know he read the lanyard, I know he read my name, and that's cool. I loved it. Joe, man, and he did it just like this. Joe, man, I am so glad you're here. And I grabbed and shook his hand. And we gave each other a hug, like we were we were bowling buddies on the Tuesday night bowling league. We hadn't seen
Yeah.
each other in a while. But he did that, man. It was just so cool. And going back to the Chick-fil-A example that you just provided, I love the way Chick-fil-A does that.
Yeah.
I've experienced it. I love it.
I want to do that as a practice. I want to do that as a practice to
Yes.
express true gratitude for being around people, to show them I think you are a rock star and I'm just glad I can get to be in your shine for the moment. I love it. They should feel that you are their friend. They should feel that you are authentic and vulnerable, not perfect, but growing.
Oh man, but growing.
Love it. Can't say it no better. Love it.
Oh man, growing. That says it right there, man. Authenticity and growing, I love it. Vulnerability, I love it. And no, we're not perfect. We're going to screw up. We're going to see the other person's mistakes. They're definitely going to see ours,
Mhm.
but they're not jabs. They're not jabs. They're just like, oh man, dude, hey, all right, let's slow it down a little bit. Let's see where we can take this.
Mhm.
All right, you messed up here. I messed up there. Let's work on it and let's make it better. Transparency, vulnerability. We're working on it. We're growing together.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And then lastly, they should feel that you believe in them and they can believe in themselves. I love that.
Yes.
He,
Yeah.
talk- he talks about a call to action at the end,
Hmm.
where not only do you want to inspire people by finding out what's important to them, what they need to see, what they need, you want to include a call to action. Now it's your turn to do something about
Hmm.
the topic that we're talking about, right? And that's a lot of ads have a call to action at the end because they understand this as well. And a lot of great leadership and inspirers have a call to action because at the end of the day, the action of the people that you sought to inspire is the
Hmm.
testament of how well you inspired them.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes. Yeah.
I think I'm going to stick with that as the bow on this episode. The action of the people that you sought to inspire is the testament on how well you inspired them.
I
So
love it.
my
Mhm.
challenge is to ask everyone who is listening, participating with this, what about your action is an inspirational source for other people? Are you doing the work to find out what somebody's inspiration embers are, what really lights their fire, what their spark is? Are you showing up as someone credible, someone caring, someone consistent, someone passionate? What inspirational ingredient are you committed to working on to have people be more inspired so they act? Joe, any final words?
Yeah, man. You just said what ingredient? I
Ah,
mean that I mean if you leave an ingredient out when you're making something, baking something, throwing something on the grill, it's going to lack flavor.
yes, sir.
We are the salt of the earth, man, as Jesus said. And if the salt has lost its flavor, then discard it, get rid of it.
Mm.
Okay. But when you mentioned ingredient, man, that just resonated with me in terms of like, how are we going to do it? We cannot leave an ingredient out. And we don't want the listeners or the people that we're connecting with and communicating with, we don't want to leave them out. They may be that main ingredient that we need in our lives right now, man. When you said that, it just took me to the next level, brother. That's what I love about this, man. You get the wheels turning when you say something like that. It may just be the one word, and then it hits home, man, when you do that to me.
That means a lot, and I appreciate that. Oh, Joe, my vitamin G. It's early. You're the person that I'm gonna use to take my vitamin G. Joe,
Oh,
I appreciate your sincerity. I appreciate the fact that you have a heart for other people. I'm trying to be like Chick-fil-A and recruit people who have hearts for people. And then
mhm,
I can teach them, I can teach them or share what lessons I'm trying to grow in. Joe, you
mhm.
show up consistent. You have a great energy about you. You give me energy and you make me want to be better and you make me think on a higher level. So I just want to express my gratitude. I really do appreciate the person that you are, and I appreciate the fact that I can call you a teammate and I can call you a friend. That means
Yeah.
a lot to me. So thanks for being amazing and being a part of my hero's journey.
Hey, God bless you, my friend. I feel the exact same way, man. I'm glad God put us together in this path that we didn't go. We chose our paths, but we chose this one
Oh, and we're
together. And thanks for bringing me along, brother. I truly appreciate you. I really do.
this is gonna
But
be a journey.
man, hey, before we close, man, why don't you tell everybody what we got going on on our next session?
The next session that we do the connector circle.
Hmm.
Okay, so connectors live what they communicate.
Oh,
Connectors
okay.
live what they communicate. Chapter 10, connectors live what they communicate. And it's going to be the last one. And so
Yes.
what we'll do after that episode, we'll figure out what else we need to do. We might do one called Fan into the Flames, where we talk about how inspiration works, how motivation works, how confidence works. Marley,
Influence. Yeah.
absolutely might even transition into the confidence builders club as well, but I think that's the next chapter we're going to cover, and that's
Mhm.
what people can expect. I'm going to challenge you. Here's your call to action. Write down the ingredients that you want to or need to develop in to be a better inspirational source for others. That's the challenge
Wow.
question of the day.
Love it. Love
So
it.
for Jovi Hill, I am Brian Rush. This has been Connector Circle, where we are dedicated to the practice of mastering the skill of connecting with others. That's all we have for this time. And until next time, my friends, connect, inspire, and win.
God bless.
Absolutely. All right, now let me see about this live streaming here. I'm gonna end